Welcome to the Western Neuropathy Association monthly webinar. My name is Daryl O'Sullivan. I'm the Vice President and Treasurer of the Western Neuropathy Association. It's my pleasure to help coordinate this. We have a very unique webinar today. Our guest speaker is, and I'm sorry to the guest speaker, I've already apologized to her. I'm sure I'm going to mess her name up. Macaria
No problem.
Cicitelli, a music psychotherapist, singer, and percussionist. She earned her diploma in music therapy in Greece and her master's degree in music psychotherapy from New York University. She's a licensed creative artist therapist and a certified music and imagery therapist. Currently, she is undergoing level 3 training in the continuum model of guided imagery and music at the Institute for Music and Consciousness and attending the psychoanalytic seminar of the Freudian Association of Northern Greece. Marika resides in New York City, where she maintains a private practice working with children, adults, and the elderly facing various challenges, including life transitions, anxiety, depression, trauma, PTSD, medical conditions, and neurologic diseases. She also supervises graduate music therapy students and professionals in the field. She frequently presents her work at national and international conferences and seminars. So it's my great pleasure to turn over the webinar to our guest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daryl. It is interesting that you called me Marika somewhere in the middle. That was really the name that they wanted, because I have my name is Macaria, and it comes from my grandmother, and this is what they wanted to name her when she was baptized, and when they gave her name. But finally, the great grandmother, she was the first Macaria in the family, let's say. She said, no way, I'm not. So we kept the tradition of this name, that it's not easy even in Greek. So no worries about not saying it correctly, but thank you very much for trying. And I wanted to say two more things about what you said. Thank you for inviting me first of all here. I am very excited to be here. I have to say that I haven't worked with neuropathy, with any client with neuropathy yet. And but I did work with, I did my internship at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, and where I worked a lot with pain management, music therapy and pain management with cancer patients. I worked a lot of years, more than 12 years now, with the elderly, and I have a lot of experience with chronic pain in general, and pain and neurological diseases, and of course I'm specialized, not of course, but I'm specialized in dementia care too. Along with, and I'm now working in my private practice, but I have all this background. And so when Glenn really reached out, and he was looking for somebody to speak about music therapy, and when we discussed with Glenn, I figured out, so okay, I didn't work with neuropathy yet, but I can speak about music therapy and what we know now about music therapy. So this is what I wanted to say about a little more about myself. And I would like to start with an experiential. And Daryl, I forgot to ask you, when we do experientials, can people turn on their cameras or their microphones?
No, usually no one is able to speak. They only can ask for or send in questions. Yeah, because
Okay.
it's a webinar and not a meeting.
Okay.
Lindsay
great.
can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's right. We would have to give each person permission to be on camera, but otherwise it's just the hosts on camera.
Mhm.
Okay, but can they turn on their microphones if they want to say something, if they want to ask or not? Not even
Yeah,
microphones.
so it would just be one at a time. We would, yeah, just be able to give each person permission to use their mic at a time.
Okay, so can we do that in case that somebody wants really to do that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great, thank you. I want to let everybody know.
Mhm.
So this first experiential, what we're gonna do is we're just going to go inside a little bit, just to, I consider music therapy, and in general, when we go into music therapy, either if it is a session or even if it is a webinar, a presentation, a group, whatever it is, I consider it like a journey. So, and since we are going to talk about um, things that they are deeper inside us, let's say, things that from our soul, from our psyche, from our body, for our mind. I want us a little bit to go inside, to start there. So feel free to participate, to do the experiential or not. It's perfectly fine to do it or not. And allow yourself to be in this experience without judgment. There is no right or wrong. There is no requirement. Whatever you do, whatever you feel, whatever it is fine. It's perfectly fine. So the first thing that we're going to do is to close your eyes or focus to a point. If you don't want to close your eyes, make sure, first of all, that you're in a safe space, somewhere that it is okay to close your eyes. And if you cannot close your eyes, you can just focus to a point, somewhere, so we can just turn inside, let's say. And just observe your breathing. Just observe it. You don't need to change anything. Observe how it feels to breathe in and out, to inhale and exhale. Observe where is your breathing at this point. If you inhale from your nose or your mouth, if you exhale from your nose or your mouth. Observe if there is any difference in the temperature when you inhale and when you exhale. And see how you feel when you're there, where observing if there is any feeling, any sensation, or anything that comes up to you. You can now listen to your heartbeat if you want to, check your pulse, or you can still stay with your breath and just observe how is your heartbeat if you're there, how fast or how slow. If you're still with your breath, observe how fast or how slow your breath is. And take that rhythm of your heartbeat or of your breath and see if you want to move with that. Or any other rhythm that feels now that you want to move with. And allow yourself to be in that rhythm, to stay in that rhythm. For a few more seconds. As we are concluding this exercise, this experiential, take a moment to see where you are now, to see if there is any feeling, any sensation, anything that you experience right now. And when you're ready, you can just open your eyes and notice how you feel. Where are you now? Somebody raised their hand. Glenn, could we give permission to Glenn to speak?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes. Glenn, is that you?
Yes.
Good. Good. We can hear you.
Yes.
Is there something that you would like to share with us?
Well, I had just put into the chat a commentary about not having worked with neuropathy patients, and my suspicion is that you actually have. Simply
Probably did.
because many people with pain syndromes often do have neuropathy. It is the most common neurological condition that no one has ever heard of. Approximately 1 in 15 people will get some form of neuropathy during their lifetimes, and there are many people with hereditary neuropathy conditions that have only recently been discovered and documented, and so maybe at the time were not known to be directly related to something neuropathic.
Thank you for mentioning that. We discussed also, you told me that when we contacted each other at the beginning. And this is true. I didn't find a lot of research about neuropathy in general and music therapy. And this is probably why, because it is a new diagnosis, let's say. So it will take some time until we find out what is happening there. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And okay, somebody else wants to share something? Anybody
I would
wants to
actually,
share about? Yeah.
yeah, I would like to actually share something that was a very nice meditation. And I try to meditate every night, and try to, by doing that, I'm trying to relax not only myself, but the pain and the craziness in my feet and ankles, primarily my right foot. But and there are times, most of the time now, when I do this, I can get rid of most of the sensation of pain. But as soon as I stop meditating, it seems that, and try to go to sleep, it seems like it comes back.
Mm. Mm-hmm. This is one and on another thing that it's really that we will talk more. Let me go forward because this is exactly that one part that I wanted to talk, that we it is so subjective, the the pain, the symptoms that everybody experiences, the music, how we use the music, that it is almost as we need to find for each and every person what it is, what it works, and what it doesn't work for them. So let me go into what is music therapy, the definition that we have from American Music Therapy Association. You can read it here But it is, I'm going to read it. I'm not going to read a lot of stuff, but I'll try at least. But I'm going to read this definition. That is the clinical and evidence-based use of music interventions to accomplish individualized goals within a therapeutic relationship by a credentialed professional who has completed an approved music therapy program. Music therapy interventions can address a variety of healthcare and educational goals, and you can find all the goals there, and there are more than that, really, that we do. And the populations, really, what I have to say about the populations is that music therapists work with every population, from neonatal units to the end of life, hospice care, adults, psychiatric illnesses, mental health, every single population, every single place, you can find a music therapy there. Why music therapy, though? This is I always something that we know. I'm sure you know, and we know the therapeutic qualities of music, right? We always felt something with music. At least I found only one person that she had a hearing problems until now, that she really could not listen to music. But I didn't find, except her, I didn't find any other person really that they didn't have an experience with music. And what is music? Music is organized sounds. It's sound, first of all, but it is organized, right? And the characteristics of music is sound, melody, harmony, rhythm, tempo, structure, texture, expression, dynamics, a lot of things there. What is there with music? I'm gonna give I'll try to be fast with that, but I think it is important to understand what we found in science, because music therapy is science too, right? It's art and science and relationship, therapeutic relationship. So let's try to figure out what we found in science and maybe explain a little bit what it is in music that makes us feel this way. I will use first the word, the linguistic science, let's say, and I will use the word emotion because a lot of times we connect music with emotion. And Tolstoy says that music is the shorthand of emotion. And if we take the word of emotion, which it is from emovere, really, from Latin, it is emotion, movement. And how I can explain music, music is movement that is expressed. This is how I feel it. And but let's see what else we found with music and brain. This is a video. Let me open it. I hope you can hear it. If you cannot hear it, please let me know. I'm trying to move the video, but I don't know how to do it here. For some reason, I cannot move the video. But anyway, so we can hear the whole video until at some point, because I don't know how to move it with what I have here. Also, Daryl or Lindsay, I don't see the video myself. Do you see the video?
No, only the Nova.
Only the Nova.
Only Nova.
So something is happening with the video. I don't know what. And you can hear the voice, right?
Yes.
Can you hear the voice?
I can hear something.
You may. I don't know what is happening here. Let me end show or use slideshow. Can you see the video now?
No, I see. Yes.
Okay, so maybe this is what we should do for the videos. So let me move it to 1 minute. So what we're going to see here is this is a functional RMI. They did a lot lately just to try to figure out what is happening in the brain when we're listening to music. And here is Oliver Sacks, who's listening to two musical pieces, one from Bach, one from Beethoven, and his preference is Bach. He's always felt that Bach is very close to him. So let's see what is happening when he's listening to these two music pieces. So the second part, even when Dr. Sachs cannot understand, cannot recognize um, uh, the two pieces, what is Bach, what is Beethoven, so he cannot express his feelings. Let's see what is happening with the brain. It's very interesting what they found. So I'm not sure if you could hear also. Could you hear the video? Because I
No,
see that
the
somebody
video
raised
hasn't been. We haven't heard any sound, but the video component of it certainly shows you what you're talking about.
Okay, so because there was also talking over, and it showed how, see, Dr. Oliver Sacks at the beginning, he says that he favors Bach over Beethoven, and this is what they can find also in his brain and his emotions. And even when he was not able to to differentiate Bach from Beethoven, his brain knew it, knew which piece was Bach, knew which piece was Beethoven. So that was the interesting part here. And let me move it forward. Okay. Let's see, how am I gonna move forward from here? Okay, here. So, but before we do that, anyway, I'm not sure if we can. I have to stop sharing and start sharing. Please give me a minute to stop sharing and start sharing with the music, with the sound, because that was something that we noticed. Here, no, here. For some reason, it doesn't allow me to share my sound, so I don't know what to do with that. But anyway, let's continue, because I don't know what else to do with that. So what we noticed here, there is somebody who raised his hand, Alex Marsh. Do you think that we should listen to that? Alex? Okay. Would you like to
I think
unmute?
Alex is still muted.
Yeah.
Can you unmute Alex? There you go.
Alex, is there something that you
Yeah,
would like
you
to?
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Huh. But I couldn't hear what was being said as the video was going. So I'm sorry I missed that, but
Yes, this is what I said. I don't know how to share the
right,
sound. This is what I said. I try to do that, but it doesn't allow me for some reason to
right.
share my sound. So in order to, and so if we cannot find it when I will share music, that I will let you know what the video says
That's
and what
fine.
it
That's
is.
fine.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and thank you for letting us know. Yes, thank you. So what we noticed is that, first of all, music affects the whole brain. You see how many areas in the brain were popped up, where music activates the areas of the brain that process emotions, and not only real emotions. And that the other interesting part that we were always noticing in music therapy is that brain recognizes the music that is close to us, even if we don't. And this is something that I notice all the time with my clients. I had a client, and this is Mr. P, that I say underneath there, that he didn't want to listen to his music because he believed he liked rap and hip hop and stuff like that. Money Trees, this is the song that he used here. And he was telling me that this is not good music for me. This is music that I shouldn't hear because it's not good music, let's say. And I was telling him, okay, what he had cancer at. This is a client with schizoaffective disorder, and he had intrusive thoughts about his cancer. So we were trying to figure out if music could help. And so he told me, let's try something relaxing. So I put some relaxation music, some soft and whatever we consider relaxing music, and doing breaths and stuff like that. And he said that no, the music didn't work for him. And I tried something a little more with movement, something like a waltz. And he said to me, the feeling of cancer took over. He couldn't even, and I said to him, let's try your music. Even if you don't want to try, let's try your music. And he chose the Money Trees, that music that is, if I remember correctly, is a rap song. And he said that the moment he heard that music, the cancer went away. The thoughts of cancer, really, the intrusive thoughts went away. So it is, we notice that all the time, that it's not about specific music. It's about what this person, what works for every single person. And here it is, I'm saying something that I said before, that music really, we notice that engages almost the whole part of the brain. Hmm. This is another video where we can see really. Maybe you can watch the video at home. If you write cymatics, this is part of the physics, and where we in cymatics, in the science of cymatics, they do experiments. You can see here in that video, they do experiments where they take several elements and they put them on a plate like that. It's called the chladni, I think, plate. They put it on a plate, these elements like sand, water, stuff, different stuff like that, and they give vibrations, they give sound underneath, and they notice that when a note, a specific note is playing, then it creates a shape. So they notice how the sound, how the vibrations affect really the material. So it's not only our brain, but it's also our bodies that they are really affected by music. Because our bodies are made from materials, and our brain also is made from materials, but our bodies is the biggest part, let's say, of that. And so I like what I'm going to take you a little bit back to music therapy, about what my first professor says about music and how the vibrations of music and how they affect the body in music therapy now. And she says that the human body looks like a musical instrument. The breath, the melody of the voice, the heartbeat, the words, the movement, the harmony, and the images become part of each person's song. Their music in clinical improvisation, this is a technique that we use in music therapy, the expression of their music self or music child, who interacts with the inner self and the world outside. So it is the way I see it is that the music, that sound that comes from outside, it interacts with the sound that we have inside of us, the vibrations, the music that we have inside of us, and there is an interaction in the music therapy with the therapist and with the music at the same time. Okay, second experiential. So we are gonna go a little bit more now. I'm not gonna hear you, and I'm sorry about that. I would love to hear you really, but because it is a webinar, I cannot hear you. So I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do, and you can do any part of that feels good to you. And this is like singing, sounding really, not singing, toning and tapping at the same time. So I'm gonna use my hand and I'm gonna show you a little bit more here. And so we say that the sound of ah sounds mostly here at the chest. So you can take a breath first, just go back. I need to go back also to my breath, because talking, I need to go back again. So take a moment just to go back to our breath. And when you exhale now, just make a sound as loud as it comes out, as loud as you can. And as you exhale in the next exhalation, we can start with the sound of ah, that is at the chest, and we can tap at the same time at our chest as we are singing. Just go to any tone, any sound that is close to you, to your chest. You can hold for a breath, for an exhalation and go again. And the sound of usually sounds here at the neck, and you can tap and just when you hear the sound of to your neck, you can just go there and sing it for another exhalation. The sound of V sounds here at the face. The sound of Vo and Nu are closer. The sound of Vo is usually around our stomach, our solar plexus. The sound of V is closer to the genitals. So it's hard to hear, to vibrate so low. Some people can do it easier. Some people can do it. It's harder for them to sound, to go, to vibrate, to feel the vibration so low. So just go to the lower note and wherever you feel it's closer to you in the moment. It takes some time, some practice really to go there. So it is the oh, so as low as you can. We do that sometimes when we have pain at our chest, we can do that and we can visualize, send the vibration of our voice there to our hand, to our arm, to our head, if our head hurts, to our knees, to wherever it is. We can just tap and send the voice there, send our voice there, and let our voice vibrate from inside and from outside also, because you hear also the sound. Sometimes this works like a homeopathic, and in a homeopathic way, sometimes the pain at the beginning can become bigger, and then it will slow down, it will go down. You can just try and see how it works. And I'm saying here that we can sing a descending scale. When we sing lower, the lower notes that we sing, we connect more with our bodies. When we sing higher notes, then ascending scales, right? If scales are the in musical scales, I mean here. When we sing ascending scales, like you probably heard a lot of singers doing that. Ascending and descending, for example, but do it with your own voice, as slow as you need, and see how you feel. See what is happening with each note.
You might be
It's
interested.
not here. It's not here about
She's singing.
somebody is speaking here, right? And I hear you, and I would like to hear what you have to say. Would you like to say it loud? I don't know who was saying something. Okay, but if you want, please share, please write on the chat, share whatever you want to say. But what did I want to say about? I was the most important thing is not to have a singing voice, let's say, not to find, if you have a beautiful voice, it's okay. If you have a normal voice, it's perfectly fine. Whatever your voice is okay. The most important is the experience of our voices. The experience of our voices inside our bodies and outside also, how we hear and how we experience that and how this may help us or not. We don't know what is going to happen. So let me move a little forward. So something that I was watching the videos that their association has online, and I was watching the video from Shanna Phelps, and I noticed that it's not only pain that we're talking when we're talking about neuropathy, right? We're talking about life changes and emotional, physical, psychosocial losses, cognitive, spiritual, in all levels. And this is where music psychotherapy can really help in all of this. So it's not only music, how we can use music in to work with pain or the symptoms that we have as only the illness, but I want just to bring here that as music therapists, as a music psychotherapist, we see people as whole. So not only because a lot of times when we are diagnosed with an illness, then we recognize, we identify ourselves with an illness, but we are not only the illness. We are all of these other things that we are as people. And in music psychotherapy, because we have that part, that creative, artistic part, which is music really, and I like what Dora says here, that music psychotherapy is a clinical approach that touches their artistic, creative human nature and awakens their potential for self-actualization during the creative process. So it's not only that we focus on the symptoms, on the pain, but we focus on the person, and we focus on the health of the person. And I like also what Brucia says, that music therapy is science, that we talked a little bit about that. There is more into that. Art, which is the creative part, and not only as an art, and the interpersonal relationship. That in order to have music therapy, we need to have a therapist. And so some symptoms that Glenn was telling me about is that paresthesia. I hope that I pronounced it correctly. Now I'm the one who, coming from a Greek background, coming from Greece, it's hard for me to pronounce a lot of words in English. Allodynia and spontaneous neural pain. And I see that they are related to the sensation of pain, or altering sensations also, and to pain that is not there sometimes. So again, I think that the most important is to find out what works for every person, because I don't think everything works for everyone. Let me see. A little bit about pain. The research that we have, at least in music and music therapy for pain. You know, of course, what is the definition of pain, but what I want to mention here is that the pain is always subjective. Every physical illness affects the person's psychological health. And something very interesting that we need to notice, that our bodies store memories of emotions, of pains, of everything, of our experiences really. So we experience in a lot of different layers of ourselves. Pain is not, it's multi-layered. I found a very interesting article. You can find it down here. It is the psychophysiology of music-based interventions and the experience of pain, which is a review really of a lot of articles. And of course, we know that we have a lot of research in all range of pain spectrum, and also ages, different ages. And what we find here, what you can see here, is that, let me see. we see that the neurotransmitters that we see here, that they affect the pain and pain areas, all brain areas that they are affected by pain, and how music is the light blue dot. Music is, it affects almost every, not almost, every single area that other neurotransmitters affect, that we use really, that they alleviate pain, and more, even more, to some places we can see that music goes to other places and helps even more really. And so two things I want to mention here, because we talked a lot about the brain, but what we noticed, and this is in this article too, is that there is evidence for additional effects that are mediated in the periphery, which I noticed that in neuropathy, the symptoms start from the periphery. And also, another thing that is, they found here in this review article, that music-based interventions target subjective pain relief. Music is most effective if it is chosen by the person with pain and combines elements that are familiar, pleasant, rewarding, and or anxiolytic. And also we know that it's not only the pain, but it reduces anxiety. And I'm gonna come to this next, because we not only notice the goals when we're working with music therapy and pain is to reduce pain, to decrease pain interference, that I think is close to what Glenn was telling me about the neuropathic pain. Improve pain-related self-efficacy, divert attention, some distraction really, away from the pain, reduce stress and anxiety. Anxiety a lot of times increases the feeling of pain. Enhance mood, increase received support, support benefit finding and sense-making related illness, provide procedural support, promote a sense of control. The same things I found one research about music and neuropathic pain. It happened in Turkey really, and they used, the subject used, listened to music, Turkish classical music, and all the results were really significantly, pain was reduced, and they talk about, you can see all the results here. Yes, and just a few things, because I mentioned music psychotherapy, just to have in mind that it's very important that because every therapist, every music therapist has different level and of studies and approach. So it's important if you want to ask for music therapy, for music psychotherapy, it's very important to ask about the depth of the person's training, studies, approach, and the way that we are working. It depends also on the client's diagnosis and issues, and also on the space where the client and the therapist both are. Some of the techniques that we used a little bit of a vocal technique here about singing and about, but let me tell you about the techniques that we use, and these are some. And so listening to live or pre-recorded songs, these are the vocal, and improvisational singing or songwriting, hymns, spiritual songs, toning, and that in that toning goes into singing. This can be listening or active, participating into that. Keep in mind that the client doesn't have to know music. And we are participating as clients in music therapy with everything that we bring. It doesn't, we don't need to have knowledge of music, and the therapist can help with that, but and can tell you things like that. Instrumental now techniques are music listening, active music listening, listening to specific instruments. This is what we mean here by active music listening. How the music changes, what is happening in the music when we're listening to music. So a little deeper listening, really. Musical clinical improvisation. This is where client and therapist, they play together. And for example, a client, somebody comes into the music and say, I'm angry now, so I want to express my anger. And the therapist may say, do you want to play music? And yes. What instrument do you want to play? Do you want to play a drum? Do you want to play the piano? What instrument do you play? Do you want to play a drum? Perfectly. So the client starts playing on the drum, and depending on what the client plays, then the therapist supports, facilitates expression. There are other very techniques that the therapist uses there to facilitate the expression of the emotion in the moment. And just to mention that, because there is a lot of theory behind that and a lot of science behind that, when an emotion is expressed, then it can change. When we hold emotions in ourselves, then we block them, really, in a way. And interconnection with other creative arts, so we can use other mediums, other arts. And as Daryl said at the beginning, I'm trained as a music and imagery therapist, where we use image, drawing as another level, another layer to express where we are and how we feel. And so, and it is music and imagery is part of the training for GIM, which is guided imagery and music. Now I'm trained to the continuum level, but it started from Helen Bonney. This is a method, really, of music therapy. There are other methods there. I don't want to go too much into that. You can always find all of that, all of this information online. Thank God for all. Google, really, we can find so much stuff in there. I'm gonna stop sharing now, because in the next experiential that we're gonna do, I want us to listen to some music. So I'm gonna stop here, stop sharing, to find a way to share sound so we can hear the music that we're gonna share. If not, I'll figure out what to do. So I'm stop sharing, but I'm not leaving yet. And okay. Let me do something else. I'm gonna open my Spotify, and let's see if now it will give me, okay. So now we will listen to music. I will share, let me see. Yes, I will share my computer audio. Tell me if somebody can tell me if we can listen, first of all, if you can listen to music.
Yep, we can hear it.
Perfect. Great. So you will see me at this point, and then I will go back to the PowerPoint. And can you see me, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, and we will listen to music. So I will tell you what we're gonna do. Let me minimize my PowerPoint so I can see also. I can see myself, everything in my screen. Okay. So in this experiential, it is music and imagery. But at this time, we will just imagine inside. We will go inside and just let the images come to us. We're not going to draw them. Sometimes we draw them, sometimes we just talk about them. But here, what we're going to do, you can sit comfortably. Please feel free to, again, I'm saying to participate or not. Stop anytime, open your eyes anytime, turn off the music if it is too much for you. And sit comfortably. You can close your eyes or focus again at a point and take just a moment to observe your breathing again. See where it is, where are you in the moment, if there is any feeling, any sensation. I know that I gave you a lot of information. Where are you with all of that? Just check your body. How does your body feel? I will start the music, and just the music is about 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Just allow yourself to listen to the music and with no expectations. Just allow yourself to see if there is anything that comes up. Any image, any sensation, any feeling, any movement. So whatever it comes up, if nothing, it is perfectly fine. Whatever it is perfectly fine.
Ayo, 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 mwana wa chitange, mwana wa mange, webake mirembe, munsi yotulo, wali emichungwa. Munsi yotulo wali amapera, munsi yotulo wali emiyembe, munsi yotulo wali emichungwa. Ayo, 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 munsi yotulo waliyo amazzi, munsi yotulo waliyo obutunda, munsi yotulo wali emizannyo, munsi yotulo tewali kukaaba. Ayo, 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 mwana wa chitange, mwana wa mange, webake mirembe, webake mirembe, webake mirembe, webake mirembe.
The music has finished. Take just a moment to see, to feel where you are right now. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back to the space. I want just to take some time and to show you a little bit. It's not music therapy session, but as I told you, I did a lot of work with in nursing homes with people, with individuals with dementia. And the next, this is community music therapy, is a little different. This is another method really, which is wonderful, especially for people that they are in institutions, and not only that, for people that they reach out to the world in a way through that. So this is a group that we were, the residents were participating once a week, and I was a facilitator. I'm not a leader here, and I'm playing with them, and you will see me. I'm the last person with a red blouse from the left side. I don't know how you see the video, but from the opposite direction of what we see now. And oh no, forget about it. We're not gonna sit because we cannot share sound, so there is no point. So I'm gonna move forward. So instead of saying that, I will say what residents said about drumming. So residents, what they said about drum is it makes us feel that we're still alive, reminds us where we come from. This is a group music therapy, right? Communicates with the whole world, helps us stay alive, makes us feel strong, release life, is very sexual, rhythm is always present. If your heart is beating, you're still alive. And some of comments from my other clients, really, not only in the drumming groups, my individual clients. You can read everything that you want from here. I think we can just, the one thing that it was very close to my heart, it was when Will said he was in a lot of pain, he was in hospice care, and he said that music, when I played, at this moment I played music for him, and improvised music. And music is like drops of water falling on my pain and taking it away. And another that doesn't have to do with pain. One of my clients, that she was in music and imagery, and she was working with trauma. She said that the process of music and imagery offered a distancing from the trauma that helped me feel protected and safe, so I could visit later and work and explore it. I did not only feel connected with its quantitative and qualitative components, but I also experienced, investigated my trauma, as well as its effects in my life. So it is, as I said before, is multi-layers, that what we did. And something that I always say, that whether it is through using music to assist with physical rehabilitation, rebuilding communication skills, or assisting with emotional well-being, music finds the way. It's like, so thank you very much. Thank you. There are references also here Let me, of whatever I use, the articles also that I found online. You can find everything online. You can find a lot of information online. I would like to go and take some questions. Thank you very, very much for listening, for being here and for listening. And I would like to minimize that somehow. Do I have to stop sharing it so we can take some questions? What do I do now, Lindsay?
You can stop sharing, it's fine. And we can
Perfect.
still take questions.
Great.
First off, I want to say thank you very much for a very enlightening and different, but very unique and positive webinar. Appreciate it. So I want to open
Thank you
the
very much.
floor to questions from everyone who's still on. I see one question on here that's I'll read to you. For those interested in finding a music therapist, is there a specific database that you recommend, or is a database like psychotherapy today a good place to search?
Yes, psychotherapy today is one thing. AMTA, American Music Therapy Association, is also another place where you can find music therapists, and everywhere else, DocZoc or wherever, depending of, because I know that the association is not only in New York, so wherever you can find psychotherapists really in your state, you can find music psychotherapists there too. But just give me a second. I thought that I turned off but I didn't. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. So yes, you can find anywhere
Yeah. So the
to
next
all these
question.
platforms, really. Yes.
Okay. So the next question is, a number of people wanted to know what music piece that was and what language the vocals were in.
I think it's African. The music is Webake. WE, let me make sure that I spell it correctly. It is in the PowerPoint also. I can give you the PowerPoint. I can give you the PowerPoint so you can have all the information, the references and the experientials if you want to continue doing it. So the music was Webake, Webake, from Samite, and it is African. I don't exactly know where from.
Okay.
A lot of times when we use music in music and imagery, a lot of times we use languages that they're not recognizable. So it's easier to connect with the music than with the words, because the words usually lead us to specific things. The music it allows us to wherever we want to go.
Mhm.
So
So you have to sort of explore the music interests of the client before trying to come up with the best music for them?
we always ask for the music, the preferences of a client's music, and where they are, what speaks to them. Let's say what music is their music, right? And a lot of times in the continuum model of music and imagery that I'm trained, we use clients' music. And a lot of times there are a lot of theory behind that, and a lot of from existential and from humanistic approach, that like giving the control, client-centered, and it's connected with all of that. But I don't want to go into, because there is a lot, and we can talk forever. I can talk forever. It's like I tried to make a presentation for half an hour and I'm speaking for an hour. So I'm sorry about that, but it's hard really to explain everything in short.
So one of the things also about the music that's interesting, at least that I've heard so far, or that we've talked about in the webinar, was pretty soothing music. And also, classical music to me is, very soothing also for the most part. For example, I would prefer Beethoven over Mozart, although I like both of them. The other person was the opposite. But
Yes.
For example, I also enjoy, and this is going to sound really weird, I also enjoy Pink Floyd, which is pretty crazy. But
It's
what
not.
kind of, I
It's
mean,
not
both
crazy at
any kind
all.
of music or always sort of soothing music?
The only thing that I can say is that find what music works for you.
Okay.
So try and find what music works for you. For any kind of, with one of my clients that she, she has a lot of childhood trauma and a lot of trauma in her life. She, we created a playlist because she couldn't sleep at night, and we created a place for her to listen before she goes to sleep and throughout the sleep, so it can so now she can sleep throughout the night with that playlist the music keep playing. But the music that she found that works for her is Native American drums. Drumming works for her. This is where when she has a headache, when she's very anxious, whatever it is, Native American drums. This is what
I have
works for her.
yeah.
I told you about my other client,
Mhm.
hip hop. This is what took his mind away. Rap. It is. If you want to look more into that, you can discuss it with a music therapist. I that you can discuss it further into that. I don't know if it needs really, but a lot of people, when they hear to what they supposedly is relaxing music in the internet, because we can find a lot of these classical for relaxing and all of that kind of stuff, and a lot of people feel the opposite, start feeling anxious when they hear to that. So just hear yourself. It's perfectly fine if heavy metal relaxes you, then this is the music that relaxes you. It's okay. Because they say that classical music relaxes us, it doesn't mean that it is for everyone.
No, so I have a couple more questions now. So how do
Yes.
you navigate finding music for clients who have issues or pain induced by certain sounds?
Ah, very interesting. And that was something also. Then we find these sounds. As we find these sounds and we try to avoid them, then for that person, maybe, I have no idea, I'm just improvising now. For that person, maybe the best way is to create music. Create music that doesn't have these sounds.
Okay.
Find what sounds trigger. And sometimes triggers can take us somewhere that it can be a very fertile space. Sometimes triggers can, music that we don't like, for example. We say always that music that we like, but sometimes that music that we don't like, there is something there, something in a psychodynamic way that we can find and work with, an issue that we can work with. So it's not like listen only to music that we like. There are a lot of other layers and elements there when we're working into psychotherapy, right? So maybe working towards create music at the beginning that doesn't have the sounds, but working towards listening and to these sounds and figuring out what is there. And now that you're saying about that, I have a client that she says, I cannot hear violin. I struggle when I hear violin. And at some point, when we're working through music and imagery, and she was working with some anxiety in her, she chose violin music because it connected with that anxiety, with that issue, and brought so much other things, so much other psychodynamic elements on the forehead. So there was a reason why she could not really hear violin.
Wow. Next
So
question is,
there is a lot there, yeah.
okay, next question is, what if some music you love also makes you extremely sad? Is that bad?
It depends. It depends. This is what I always ask people when how do they use music? Does that music that you like and you feel sad works as a companion, as a support? Is it the song that hears your sadness, let's say, or my sadness? And so I want to hear it because I want somebody to listen to me, to my sadness. So I feel that somebody is there and listens to me. So then the music there works as a mother, let's say, as a support figure. But is it too much? Is it too overwhelming? So I cannot really go there at this moment. And I would prefer just to play something else that it's soothing, but not totally there. So it depends on the time, on the hour, and how it works. And sadness, isn't it part of our human emotions? Isn't it part of who we are?
Yeah.
Do we need to avoid sadness? I would ask here.
Yeah. No, good question. A good point. Okay, that's all the questions. And again, I want to say thank you so much. The recording will be available in about a week, and Lindsay will send it to you so you can review it, and then we'll get it online. I'm sure that all the members of the Western Neuropathy Association and those others who attended, excuse me, much appreciate your expertise. And again, we thank you so much for providing a wonderful webinar.
Thank you very much for inviting me and giving me that space to talk and share really our knowledge, because I learned so much from Glenn and you, and watching really your presentations, because part of this is what I forgot to say, that I decided to talk about psychotherapy because I watched the presentation from I don't remember, Sarah was her name, the woman Shanna Phelps.
Okay.
That she was talking about all the issues and all the challenges that she faced when she was diagnosed with neuropathy. So this is what made me say, okay, that so there is more that music psychotherapy can do, really. So I learned a lot, really. With this opportunity, I learned a lot, and thank you very much for giving me that opportunity.
Thank you. Okay, well, you have a wonderful afternoon and again, or evening, depending on your time of day.
You too.
Anyway,
Yes, it's evening.
yes,
Afternoon. Almost
very nice.
afternoon, almost evening. I'm in New York. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much again.
Bye. Take good
Bye-bye.
care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.